High school holds many different experiences for most. We learn interesting subjects, meet friends, have relationships, and even learn how to drive for the first time or get our first jobs. It's one of the biggest stepping stools into the adult life in the real world. With all this newfound freedom of high school, it's easy to get caught in the mayhem of it all. With these new freedoms comes papers, finals, and many other boring, dreadful tasks no one in the right mind would want to do. Like writing a commencement paper, for example. High school can start feeling like a chore at times. All the busyness can catch up with you and panicking is inevitable. When someone is in panic mode, like I was trying to fill up the word count, either it be a teacher, student, or anyone for that matter, one of two things can happen. A situation is taken care of in a beautiful, rushed fashion of, oh Lord, why didn't I do this sooner? I wish there were more of me. Or the much more easy approach, but less fulfilling way of, it's too late to even bother with the situation. In this case, you can either panic productively and get your job done, or you can just complain about the situation and accept a bad outcome. The problem is with accepting a bad outcome is that more often than not consequences occur, and living with those consequences take a toll on not only you, but the ones you love as well. No family member or friend wants to see someone they care about stressed and failing in some sort of way. In freshman year, I took a ceramics class, mostly because it seemed easy enough. All you had to do was show up, play with clay, then make a mug. How hard could it be? Well, it turned out from that experience, I am one of the least artistic persons on the face of this earth. It turned out art isn't subjectical when it's being graded. Who knew? My ceramics teacher was a quirky, happy-go-lucky old man who would try to be buddy-buddy with all the popular kids in the class, and the rest of us were mere peasants he had to teach. The only interesting thing about this cookie-cutter wannabe popular high school teacher was the stories on how he would tour with the Grateful Dead when he was our age. He would often refer to himself as a deadhead, but sadly not even our shared bond over one of the greatest bands on earth could secure my grade in that class, because at the end of the year, I was failing. Not just any class, though. I was failing an art class. All that fooling around finally caught up to me, and my last 2 weeks of school, suddenly ceramics was more than just a break between math and English. It was a grade I actually had to worry about. When the news broke to me that I was getting a pathetic F, my heart sunk. I was in pure panic mode for a second. I swear my heart actually stopped. The only thing on my mind the rest of the day was my mother's face she would only make on the rarest of occasions when one of her pride and joy would disappoint her. The first time she ever made that face to me was when I told her I hated playing soccer and wanted to quit. For the longest time, that was the only time she made that face at me. I never wanted to see it again. I could already hear my dad's voice yelling at me for my fail grade in the class. He would for sure say, "You're no longer allowed to leave the house or have your phone until your grade is at a high B." I was petrified. I wish I could say I worked aimlessly on my final project, spending hours upon hours in the art room doing all I could to make the perfect final project, which was a vase. The truth is, however, I paid someone $20 to do it for me. Deep down in the pit of my stomach, I knew that if I made a vase, something would be wrong with it. Either it be the coloring or the shape. Art just wasn't, and to this day still isn't, something I'm good at or enjoy making. Being graded for an art project is honestly one of the worst things imaginable to me. It's hard to take seriously. That's why I plagiarized a project from my friend. To be fair, the school may see it as plagiarizing, but I saw it as a way of practicing capitalism. And if I got caught, that was the excuse I was going to use. Sometimes panicking productively means to break a few rules and use all the possible resources you have. Cheating isn't always a good thing while doing this, but sometimes it gives a good advantage. I eventually left my freshman year of high school, and during my junior year, my ceramics teacher emailed me. He said, and I quote, "Hello, Miss Potts. I just wanted to let you know I have Miss Hunt, the person who helped me make the vase for me, in my class this year, and she told me everything. I knew you couldn't make anything that beautiful. You pulled the wool over my eyes. Congratulations. You panicked productively." Although this was a teacher I didn't really care about, for that was probably one of the best pieces of advice that someone has ever given me in my personal life. So, moving from high school, panic to the best of your abilities.